So we do not remember when. It seems like it's come up a couple times. We're not sure when that it has come up, but we'll just start as if we hadn't talked to you guys about it at all. Someone said something about the idea that egotistical. And Elohim replied, you can't be egotistical as an advanced light worker because you know how hard it was to get here. It burns the ego out of you. The process of walking this path burns the ego out of you. It's not something you have to necessarily surrender. If you walk the path, it gets surrendered in the process. What do we say? You don't know anything. The act of saying, I don't know anything, is one way to not have a big ego. I don't know anything. It's really hard to be stuck up about things when you admit you don't know anything. You certainly don't know everything, and you're constantly learning more. You're constantly in a place of growth. It's very hard to be egotistical when you know you're constantly growing, learning, changing, that you don't know it all. And what we're seeing, especially after the solstice, what we're seeing is that there is a high degree of what we're calling weary confidence. And they laugh in the room. Apparently that resonates. And by that we mean there's a confidence in the truth of the tools work, being conscious works, paying attention to your emanation works, all of it works, and you're weary of having to work it. You're weary. You're looking for the magic. You're looking for the superhero power. You're looking for the wiggle your nose and have it happen. Some of you are waiting for the UFOs to come and do it for you. Some of you just don't give a shit what happens, just so long as something happens that you don't have to work every second for. And we understand this. We can't console you. It's not our role to console you. It's our role to offer you tools that work and help you apply them as they are needed. You wouldn't have weary confidence if you didn't have tools. Can you imagine? Then you'd just be weary. That's worse. In the duality framework, that's worse. Weary confidence is what you have. So the focus here needs to be on the second word, not the first. Remind yourself how the tools function well in your life when you use them. Remind yourself of the opportunities you have for ahas. Remind yourself. And let go of the part that makes you weary. And the part that makes you weary is it should be different than it is. It should have changed faster. It should have evolved better. I shouldn't have to work this hard. It should be easy. It's been 40 years of this. Why isn't it easy yet? And we would say, if you compare yourself to the 40 year ago version of you, you find it is easier. We never have found a better example than that of the weightlifter. The weightlifter lifts 50 pounds and it's hard. After a little while, it's easy. Does the weightlifter then say, finally, easy weightlifting? No, that's not what happens, is it? No. The weightlifter goes looking around for more things to strap onto this weightlifting bar so he can challenge himself more. There isn't a better example of what you do. If you were only asking yourself to accomplish the task that you asked yourself to accomplish 40 years ago, those tasks would be easier, maybe even easy. But you are not satisfied with those tasks. You are not satisfied with anything less than full ensoulment, walking the planet as Homo Spiritus, experiencing the ascended state while incarnate. That's your goal. And just like the weightlifter whose goal is to lift 500 pounds, $4.99 doesn't do it for him, nor will it do it for you. And because of that, you are always going to be working until you get to the ascended state, and we'll tell you, then you'll need to get used to the ascended state, and then you will find a way to want to work that too. It is your nature. It is your nature. Now, we hear you. You want to rest. You want to take a break. You want to not work so hard. All of these things are also possible. The question is, do you do it when you say, I must? You say, I must take a break from this. This spiritual work is too much for me. Okay. You go out into the world and you navigate it in a I'm taking a break from my spirituality way and just see how much fun that is. Because you're going to go, and what are you going to do? Be a victim? Are you going to be level 1, level 2? Are you going to go out there and feel like the world's picking on you? This is not something that is an either or. It's a you figure out that it's possible and then you don't stop. Veronica had a friend a long time ago who would say, you know too much. You can't go back. The horse is out of the barn. And in essence it is. I need a break from all this, monitoring every thought. Okay, then what happens when you stop? Are you immediately happier? It's not as though we're saying, suffer, 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 suffer. Be spiritual and suffer. The thing is you suffer more when you are unconscious and victimized than you do when you're conscious and creating. You're just a little weary because you've been conscious and creating for a while now. And you forget to compare you to you. You instead compare you to the you thought it was going to be. Oops. Don't do that. That's just cruel. I thought it was going to be like this after 12/21. I thought it was going to be like this when the UFOs came. I thought it was going to be like this when. I thought it was going to be like that when. I knew it was going to change this way. Okay? So then that imaginary you're comparing to now and saying, I suck. My life sucks. It's too hard. I'm weary. That's just flat out unfair. Not recommended. And in essence, it's actually cruel. Because you're giving yourself a standard you can't meet. It's a made-up, make-believe standard that you can't meet, haven't met, didn't happen. How about instead you take this moment, this actual moment, this right now moment, and you say, this was what just happened to me, and I'm going to take how I handled that and compare that to me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. And that's a fair comparison. And if you're not pleased with that comparison, then that might be something you want to dig in on. But all of you have had that comparison and found very much that you are pleased with what the change is. It's when you assume it should be easy, easier, easiest, and it's not, and you suck because of it, that you do yourself a grave disservice. It is. And when you're not comparing yourself to something imaginary, you have a far better chance of actually experiencing what is in a joyful state. In the juicy yummiest that it is. You have weary confidence. Let's be confident. And let the weary be left behind. Because we see the weary primarily coming out of it should be different than it is. And that's really cruel. It is. And I want to change it. Okay. Fine, we're behind you 100%. You want to change how is great, but we got to start from acceptance of is rather than saying is should be different than it is and this is how it should look, preconceived notions and outcomes. That's just not nice. You can say my is I have this relationship that doesn't feel functional. Okay. Instead of saying it should have just been better by now, that's not nice. You can say this is the aspect, the specific aspect of it that I don't like. I don't like that when we talk to each other in loud language, loud, foul words that we don't show respect to each other. Okay, great. Now, we can help you with that. What is impossible for us to help you with is you saying, it should be different than it is. Because I've been doing this for 40 years, or because it's 2013, or because the ascension process is moving along, or because I'm trying to be Homo Spiritus. It just should be different. It should be different, and even more cruelly, it should look like this, and it doesn't, so I suck. How about let's talk about what it is, and we can give you some tools that can help you shift from inside to make your external world change, not waiting for your external world to change who you are. Your external world can try to change you, but only you decide whether or not to go along with it. A good example of this is a natural disaster that takes away something important to you, and you say, there's the external world acting in my life. But the truth of the matter is the action point. The verb in the sentence is how you handle it inside of you, not what has happened externally. Veronica was watching a movie the other night. We're not going to say the name of it because we're not going to spoil it for those that haven't seen it. But at the end of it, the man was in jail and he said, this saved my life, getting put in jail. It's better. We don't remember the exact words he used, but it's in essence, my life is better because I'm in jail. He's not the only one who feels that. My life is better because I lost my job. Not the only one who feels that. My life is better because I got sick. Not the only one who feels that. You don't have to have those big things happen in order to make big transformation, but when they do, it's a good moment to make sure that you transform in the direction you want rather than the direction of victimhood. You have weary confidence. Let's make it confidence. Build on what works. Build on what works. And we are here to help you as much as we can build on what works, and we have a solid foundation of what works to work with. All right. So we like this new thing where Elohim goes at the end because they talk too much and they use up all the time. So we're going to put Fred. Yeah, let's do Fred. All right. Bye.
Thank you.